my button gone? Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1652. Tonight we're talking travel destinations for 2024. It's been a while since we've done that. It's been about a year since we've done one of these. So I figured it was time to brush this up. And I'm just trying to find my list so I can copy and paste it out from behind. Oh, where we go? There we go. Okay, I got to copy and paste it out from behind there so I can put it over here. Actually, I just need to move it. There we go. Okay, that's all moved now. So, doing some research today, and sorry, I got a very itchy eye all of a sudden. Okay, we're good. All right. Yeah, the eye might start watering in a minute. There. I don't know, just very itchy right now. Okay, so top 10 travel destinations for 2024. These are the ones that are expected to be on the hot list. And right now it's the middle of wave season. And wave season is when you get all the best travel deals are out there from the vendors, from the different suppliers, from the cruise lines to the land tour companies to the airlines. They all have the best deals on at this time of the year because there's a lot of people booking at this time of the year. So I thought it would be good to look at what are the top 10 destinations for 2024. So first of all, thank you everybody for tuning in who is watching us on Facebook. You could be watching us on YouTube. You could be watching us on TikTok, or you could be watching the replay. Welcome and thank you all for tuning in. I love it when people tune in. It's awesome. So we're going to start at number 10. We're going to go backwards. Sometimes I go forward. Most of the time I go forward. This time I'm going backwards. So at number 10, and the number 10 spot for the top 10 destinations for 2024, we've got Canada. It's such a beautiful area up there. I've only been to a couple of places, to Toronto and Victoria and Vancouver. There's so much more to explore. Remember we did a trip up there with my mum and dad when we did our 3,227 miles in 27 days. Vancouver was one of our destinations. We were up there for a couple of nights, and we did actually we were there for 3 nights. Because we had 2 full days there, and we did. We caught a bus, went to downtown Vancouver, and we walked around all the waterfront and everything. And then the next day, we did a bus tour where we got picked up at the campground and were taken across on the ferry across to the island that then took us down. We went to Burchard Gardens and then down into Victoria. It was a fantastic full day out. We had vouchers for dinner on the for meals on the ferry on the way across and on the way back. It was really, really cool. It was absolutely beautiful. But there is so much more to Canada that I want to see. Like I want to go see the Canadian Rockies and all those beautiful lakes and that they've got in there. Toronto was really cool. We did that one. When did we do that one? It's when we were living back in Virginia. We actually left on a Thursday night. We left on Thursday. We had Josh with us, and it was just before Josh started. It was during summer vacation. It was just before Josh was leaving to start at college. And so we went, so just the 3 of us, there was Brad, myself, and his younger son, Josh. And we went and we did a driving tour. We did a road trip. We went from where we were in Centerville, Virginia, in Northern Virginia there. We drove up, found a hotel somewhere along the road for the night. And then the next day we continued. We drove around the edge of Lake Erie and up into Canada there across. Where did we cross over? I think it was. Oh, I don't even remember where we crossed the border. We crossed the border into Canada and drove up, and we stayed in a residence in Toronto. We were there for 3 nights. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. Yeah, we were there for 3 nights. We had 2 full days there. And we had a great time. We had an awesome time. We went up, we did going up in the tower there where they had the glass floor. I got a picture of me actually sitting on the glass floor. Josh would not go on it. Brad would not go on it. So I went and sat on it, and they took a picture of me there. We did a hop on, hop off bus tour as well. We basically just hopped on and stayed on and for the circuit. I remember when I used to work in the DC metro area in Northern Virginia there, we were at a hotel. One of my jobs was concierge of sorts. And I always told people, I said, go get get this bus. And I said, stay on it for the first round and figure out where you want to get off. And then on the second time around, start hopping on and off. You've got about 20 to 30 minutes between each bus. They'll tell you when the next bus is due to go and look around and that sort of thing. And then you can work out the ones that you want to see, because what happens is that a lot of people on those hop on, hop off buses, they just start, oh, let's go see this, let's go see this. And if they get towards the end of the day and they run out of time, or they're on a time crunch of some sort, and they don't get to see what they really, really wanted to see. So I said, so stay on for the first round. And I said, this is how long it takes. And then the second time, start doing your hopping on and hopping off. And so that's what we did that day. We took my advice from what I was telling people in Northern Virginia to do when they went into DC. And that's what we did. We stayed on the bus the entire round, figured out what we actually wanted to go and see and do. And then we started hopping on and off on the second round of the hop on, hop off buses and stuff. And you're always catching different buses and things. And these were double decker buses where the top deck was opened. It was actually very cool. It was a very cool trip to Toronto. Totally enjoyed the downtown Toronto area. Very diverse cultural scene up there. It was just fantastic. Vancouver, been there twice. One time I stayed in downtown Vancouver, like a 5-minute walk. The hotel was a 5-minute walk from the convention center, which was right down there on the waterfront. You look at the convention center, it's got grass that grows across the top of it. It's right there next to the to Canada Place, which is where the cruise ships come in. Happened to be up there for CLIA 360, and CLIA stands for Cruise Lines International Association. It was their big annual convention. It was in Vancouver that year. It was a lot of fun. And Vancouver, I love that city. So I've been there 3 times now. There was once for the convention, and I felt so safe walking there. Like I had called the hotel and said, look, this is when I'm coming in. How do I get from the airport to the hotel? They told me about the train that you catch. They told me about what it would cost, what station to get off at. And they said, when you get off at the station, you come up and make sure that you go this way on this particular street and not that way. Because if you go to that direction, you're going to the seedy side of town. So you want to go to the left when you come out. And this is about a 5-minute walk from the metro station. It took a little longer because I had a suitcase with me. But I got there it was where the plane landed, and an hour later, I was at the hotel. It was that quick to get through immigration and customs and get my bags and find out where I needed to be and everything else. And I got there at 9 p.m. at night. It was dark, and I felt so safe. I actually felt safe walking the streets. So it's not often that you go to a city and you're actually walking around in the middle of the night and you feel safe. Well, it was only 9 p.m. But then on that particular conference, I was invited by one of the cruise lines to go and join them for a dinner that evening. And we did this in this really cool Italian restaurant. It was a beautiful restaurant and things. And it was 2 or 3 blocks up from where the hotel was that I was staying in. Again, I walked up there. It was daylight when I walked up there. It was night. It was like 10:30 at night when I walked back. Felt totally safe. As I'm walking up, though, because at that time that we were in town for that one, they were actually filming scenes for Godzilla. And I'm walking up the street that the hotel was on the corner of. So I'm walking up the street to go to this hotel. There's these massive, big things of broken concrete and all these big massive things of broken concrete, all made of polystyrene and painted and everything else. And that was all there for one of the scenes they were doing. At night, they would literally close off like 2 city blocks at certain times of night, so they could do all the night shooting and everything else. And so, of course, just kind of walking and taking a nosy and things like that. But I haven't gone out much into the gorgeous countryside of Canada, where all the mountains are and the lakes and all of that. And that's one thing that I want to get to. So that's number 10 on the jeepers. It's number 10 on the list. All right, we're going to be here forever if I keep doing this. Number 9 is Greece. The Greek Isles in Greece. You've got all of the history, the ancient history that is there. The Greek Isles like Santorini and Mykonos are 2 of the favorite ones that people like to go to. There's also islands like Naxos and Paros that are lesser known that actually have very beautiful beaches on them. So if you want something that's not so crowded, that would be a good place to go. South Korea comes in at number 8. I haven't got these numbered. I got them bullet pointed, so I'm going to make sure I'm counting right. 10, 9, 8. Yeah, South Korea at number 8. You've got a lot of tradition that's there in South Korea. Seoul being the capital, it's known for its shopping and its historic sites. Then you've got the beautiful countryside they have there in South Korea as well. Coming in at number 7 is, but this one surprised me, was Morocco. Now, this has always been a place that I would love to go. They have, where they have the all the different bazaars and stuff that they have there, and a lot of historical architecture is there in Morocco that you can go and see, and they've got the UNESCO World Heritage Site there. So there's a lot of history in that area. I had a friend one time, actually a client one time, that booked a trip to Morocco, and she went there to go to the bazaars to buy fabric. And I'm like, "You're going to Morocco to buy fabric?" And she says, "Yeah." And it was something that she did with the fabric, and she'll go over there. But she also bought, there's different types of beads that she would buy. And there was a place in Italy that she would go to buy specific types of beads for some of the work that she did. She was very much of a craftsman, a lot of different handcrafts and things. But in Morocco, she wanted to go there to buy the different fabrics, some of the different fabrics that they had. So apparently they have really good fabrics there in Morocco. Haven't been, don't know. Coming in at number 6. Number 6 is Iceland. Now, this is the land of fire and ice. You get to see northern lights up there during the winter time and stuff, when you don't have the 24-hour sun thing going on up there. You've got the black sand beaches, the geothermal areas. Kind of sounds like New Zealand in that way. You've got, and it's and one thing about Iceland, if there is non-volcanic activity, getting travel insurance is going to be difficult, because if it is and here's the thing about travel insurance, if it is a known event, like, for example, volcanoes going off in Iceland, or a hurricane has been named, and you're going into the area where these named hurricanes happening, or the volcanoes are erupting, or whatever, if it is a known event or a named storm or hurricane, and anything happens while you're there, and you purchase your insurance after these events are known, your insurance is not going to cover anything that is caused by these known events. So if you're going down in the Caribbean and there's this hurricane coming through and things like that, and your trip gets interrupted or cruise gets canceled or whatever, the insurance company is not going to cover it, because it was caused by a hurricane that was named, and you purchased your insurance after the hurricane was named. So if you're going to go somewhere like Iceland, check to make sure there's no volcanic activity going on at the time before you purchase any insurance, because if you purchase the insurance and there's no volcano activity going on, and when you go visit, something happens that's caused by the volcanoes, you're not going to get covered. So just be aware of that. Let's see, coming in at number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, coming in at number 5, we've got Italy. Italy has got so much history in there. It's a place I can't wait to get to. You've got you can actually do cooking tours through Italy, learn to cook pasta in different ways based on whether you're in southern Italy or northern Italy. Cooking pizza different ways is a different thing as well. You've got the there is a ton of history in Italy. I mean, even if you just go to Rome, you've got all of the you got the Colosseum that's right there. You've got the Vatican that's there. And if you're going to be going to Rome, make sure that you're going with a company that gets you early access into the Vatican, so you don't have to wait in lines to get in to look through Vatican City. There are tour companies that will get you in beforehand, and will also take you to areas that the general public don't get to see unless you're on the specific tours. So there's those little secrets that you need to know about, which is why it is good to work with a travel professional, because they know about these things and can help with you at that as well. You've also got the island of Sicily that you can go and see. Actually, I was on a cruise one time with this woman who all she did was tours to Sicily. And I sat through her PowerPoint presentation, mesmerized. Haven't made it to Sicily yet, but, and I don't remember a lot of what she said, because this was a few years ago. We were still living in Virginia at the time, but actually, no, we just moved to California. But there's a lot to see in Sicily. And then, you've got the places like Florence, where they've got these great markets there. They've got, the canals of Venice. You've got Pisa with the Leaning Tower. There's those well-known things, but there's a lot of stuff around Italy that you don't know that's kind of hidden and off the beaten path. You can actually do walking tours and cycling tours through Italy. You get when you get up in the morning on the cycling tours, they say, do you want to do track A, B, C? And they're different. Track A is like the easy route on your bicycle. Then you've got track A. Track B is a little bit of hills, and track C is the one with the challenge. And you pick which one you want to do. All your bags are put into vans. There's support vehicles that go with you, and your stuff arrives at the hotel before you do. And they pick you up at certain points and take you on in the van based on which route you're taking to get to where you're going on the bikes. And yes, in those cycling tours, you can take your own pedals and you can take your own bike seat as well. Ask me how I know, because I've had people that have asked that question and I've done these tours. And you can also do cooking. You can do cooking tours as well. There's walking tours that you can do where you walk between the cities, all the different the little villages and everything else along the way. So there's those types of tours that you can do as well. And again, the easygoing way or the challenge. So there's different ways that you can visit Italy and see it. And you'll get to see a lot when you're doing the walking or the cycling tours. You get to see a different side of Italy that you normally wouldn't get to see if you were on a bus tour of Italy. You might get to see them if you're on a self-drive tour, but I thought, bikes and walking, that would be pretty cool because there's just so much beauty over there that you can go see. Number 4 on the list is Costa Rica. Being there in Central America, this is a great place for ecotourism. I was actually reading something today about how they have this, what was it called? Is it the Blue Band? The Blue Band, I think, is this area that's where you get a lot of people that retire. A lot of people are retiring to this particular area in Costa Rica. I think it was called the Blue Band. Should have written that down. And people are rushing down there because they've got such great healthcare down. They've got excellent healthcare down there. Apparently, I don't know. I'm just reading this article in one of the travel magazines today about this. So a lot of people are retiring down there, but they're ecotourism. They want people to come down and visit the rainforest, the beaches, the wildlife. You've got a lot of different national parks down there that you can go around. There's great things for hiking, wildlife viewing, canopy tours. So there's a lot of great stuff to see in Costa Rica. And if you want to retire down there, there's ways that you can do that as well. I don't know much about retiring to different countries, but I don't know. There's specialists out there who deal with helping people relocate to different countries. Number 3 on the list. Oh, I was happy to see this one on the list. Number 3 on the list is New Zealand, offering, we've got, and I will tell you this, you can be on the beach in the morning and you can be up in the mountains skiing by the afternoon. Yeah, basically that. You've got most of the population, most of the population lives on the North Island of New Zealand. About a quarter of the population lives on the South Island. So you've got 3/4 of the population live in the North Island. Half of the population lives in Auckland, which is our big main city. It is not the capital. The capital is Wellington, which is at the bottom end of the South Island. But the South Island is full of lots of mountains. They've got the Southern Alps there, which basically goes from one end of the island to the other end with the little breaks in between. You've got gorgeous lakes down there. And I will tell you this, if you want to go hiking in New Zealand, tramping, hiking, bushwalking, whatever you want to call it, you don't have to, all you got to do is just watch where you put your feet. You don't have to worry about poisonous things, poisonous creatures like snakes and spiders and things. We do have a caterpillar spider that is poisonous, but it just makes you sick. It doesn't kill you. They're well off the tracks. They are well off the tracks into the dense forest areas where people don't go. You don't have to worry about snakes. You don't have to worry about vicious animals. There are wild pigs in there, but again, you got to be well off the tracks to see those ones. So it's great hiking down. There's amazing tracks. We've got so many tracks in New Zealand that you can go walking on. There's tracks that are on different mountains and things. There's the Tongariro Crossing, which goes from one side, which goes up over the top of Forgetting my mountain names. It's a really cool crossing. I think it goes across the top of Ruapehu. There's 3 mountains that are next to each other: Ruapehu, Ngātahoe, and Tongariro. If you're coming from the south, they're in the what we call the desert area of New Zealand. We have basically, somebody said to me one time, they said, oh, well, how would you describe New Zealand to somebody who's never been there before? And I sat there and I thought, here's how you describe New Zealand. You take all 50 states of the US, you squish them into the size of Colorado, because the land size of Colorado is the same as the land size of New Zealand. They're within a couple of hundred square miles. So the Colorado and New Zealand actually have the same land mass. If you look at the size of Colorado and the land mass of New Zealand, it's about the same. People say it's about the same size as California. It's not. It's not. New Zealand fits inside California, and there's plenty of room to get around. But basically, you take all 50 states, squish them into a space the size of Colorado, stretch it out a little bit. I'm trying to remember on the map that I saw where they took a scale drawing of New Zealand. I think, if I remember correctly, it went from Philadelphia down to the Georgia-Florida state line, I think is where it went, for lengthwise, for how long it is. Gotta go back and find that map again. Surrounded by water, put in there about 50 million sheep and 5 million people, and there you go. That's New Zealand. Yes, we have about 4 to 5 sheep per person in New Zealand. But that's one of our main exports is lamb. Dairy is another one of our main exports. So 3/4 of the population lives in New Zealand. About half of the population in New Zealand lives in Auckland, and 1/4 of the population lives in the South Island. South Island, very rugged, lots of mountains, lots of lakes, lots of beaches, because it's an island. North Island, heavily populated, a lot of dairy is up there. So you see a lot of cows up there. You will see some sheep up in the North Island as well, and you'll see some cows down in the South Island, but South Island is mainly where you see the sheep stations. North Island is mainly dairy. If you're around the Hamilton, Cambridge area, there's a lot of really good horse breeding that goes on there for horse races, for racing horses, the thoroughbreds and things. There's beautiful beaches all over the place in New Zealand. Of course, it's an island. New Zealand is an archipelagical island country that's made up of over 700 islands, but we have 2 main ones, 2.5 main ones. We've got, oops, sorry. For those of you watching on the other thing, when you do this on a Mac, on StreamYard and Zooms, it does confetti, and if you do just this, it does balloons, and if you do this, you get thumbs up. If you do this, you get fireworks. Where's the fireworks there? I got 2 up, please. Thank you. That's better. You get fireworks, and if you do this, you actually get rain. And then you can do this one too, and it sends out hearts. It's not working. Probably can't see my hearts. Well, there it goes. Unfortunately, it doesn't work on the. I think it does work on the iPhone. I just haven't figured out how to turn it on. So a very diverse thing. One of my favorite areas is the Milford Sound area. It gets a lot of rain down in that area. It's a very wet area, but it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. And you go out and you can do these tours that will take you out through the fjord. They're actually fjords, but people thought they were sounds, but they're not. They're fjords. And you can actually go out on the Milford Sound, and there's actually overnight ones that you can do that will take you into Dusky or Doubtful Sounds as well, which are all fjords in New Zealand. And the cool thing about the fjords in New Zealand is that if you've been to Alaska and done any of the Alaskan cruises where they go up in the fjords there to see the glaciers and things, it'll look very familiar. When we were on our first cruise, the first cruise Brad and I ever did was in September 2009, and we went to Alaska. And as we're going up one of the fjords to see the glacier at the end of it, there was a naturalist that was giving commentary as we're going up the thing. And I remember him saying there's 5 places in the world that you will see fjords, and they're all on the west coast of where you can see them. And they said there was Northern America, which is where you see them in Alaska. There was Greenland, Norway, Chile, and New Zealand. And he said, and the guy turns around and says, they all look the same. And so my goal on my list, my travel list, is to go to these 5 places and see the fjords. And I can tell you, Alaska and New Zealand look very much the same when you're traveling up the fjords. And I actually had, Brad had actually taken some photographs as we're going up the fjord in Alaska. And he had been to New Zealand to Milford Sounds. And we had taken, and we've done the boat ride that goes out and comes back in again. And he had taken these pictures. And I was looking through his pictures in Alaska. And I thought, that kind of looks familiar. And so I went looking through his pictures from New Zealand, found the picture I wanted. I had them side by side on the screen. And he walks in behind me and he goes, why you got the same picture up twice? I said, they're not the same picture. I said, one of the pictures here you took in Alaska, the other one you took in New Zealand. Which is which? He's like, well, I don't know. They look the same to me. And I said, exactly. So yeah, they do look the same. There are some differences because one has a lot of glaciers and stuff. In New Zealand, we don't have the glaciers on the fjords. You won't see the glaciers at the end of the fjords. So that was a really cool thing to learn. So you have very diverse area from one end of the country to the other. There is actually an accent change in New Zealand. So if you're up in the North Island, you can tell those from the deep south of New Zealand, and that's basically Dunedin South. And the reason you can hear the change is that Dunedin is also known as the Edinburgh of the South from Scotland. And I haven't been to Edinburgh yet, so I can't confirm this from a first-hand knowledge, but I have been told that the Octagon in Dunedin in New Zealand is similar. There's a similar one supposedly in Edinburgh with the same street names that come off it. But Dunedin was settled by Scottish people when the Scottish people when they came over. So they had their Scottish burr, and you can tell people that are from the deep south in New Zealand from Dunedin or south because they have that slight Scottish tinge to their New Zealand accent, which is really cool. So you will find all sorts of things. We've got thermal areas, we've got the forests, we've got the mountains, we've got world-class skiing down there, we've got phenomenal beaches down there. There's some great surf areas in New Zealand for the surfers. There's some great mountains if you're into mountain climbing. If you're into mountain biking, we have some great trails for that. We have great hiking trails. There is actually a hiking trail where you can start at the top of New Zealand at Cape Reinga and end up down in Bluff at the southern tip of the South Island. And there's a walking trail that takes you like about 3 months to do it. There's some great cycling trails there. They took an old railway line and pulled up all the rails and the sleepers and put down all of this shingle and stuff and made these cycling trails. And my parents have done the one that's in Otago, where it actually goes through some of the old tunnels that the trains used to go through, because the train doesn't go in that anymore. So they repurposed it. And another place up on the North Island, on the west coast of the North Island, there's a place that's called the Forgotten Forest. And they have old train tracks there. Again, trains don't run on them anymore. So they have adapted golf carts to be able to go along these old train tracks, and you can go into some of the backcountry areas and get to see some amazing scenery that way as well. And there's some pubs you can stop at along the way for refreshments, for drinks, for meals, that sort of thing. And they have tea rooms that you can stop at along the way. And you're driving along the train track in a golf cart that's been converted to run on rail, which is really cool. All right, so where are we up to? Number 2, Portugal. Oh, I want to go here so bad. They've got so much history there. They've got, apparently they have really good wines in Portugal as well, because there is now some of the cruise lines on the Douro River will do these wine cruises along there. Is it the Douro River? Douro? I'm trying to remember how it's spelled. They've got a river there that you can go along. You can do all these wine cruises and stuff on there. Apparently they have very good wines in there as well. There's a lot of history in Portugal. I'm a history buff, so if they've got history, I'm there. A lot of great, they've got historic trams. They've got different places that you can climb up to see different picturesque viewpoints. They've got the architecture there. They've got the cliffs, the golden beaches, coastal paths, a whole bunch of, if you're a nature lover, great place to go as well. Adventure seekers, they've got them covered too. So we've gone from, let's see, starting at number 10, we've gone Canada at number 10, Greece at number 9, South Korea at number 8, Morocco at number 7, Iceland at number 6, Italy at number 5, Costa Rica at number 4, New Zealand at number 3, Portugal at number 2. Have you had any guesses for what number 1 is? Number 1 is Japan. And they have done a lot in Japan. to, I mean, you've got Tokyo, you've got Kyoto is there, and down in the countryside where you can go, and there's all those beautiful. You got Mount Fuji down there with all those beautiful, and you've got all the cherry blossom. Okay, let's. There's something for everybody in Japan. It's a very diverse country as far as you've got the ancient history that they have there, all the way through to modern technology and everything in between. You've got the bustling cities to the quiet village towns. There's a very different culture, but very diverse scenery wise, very diverse culture wise, very diverse as far as ancient traditions blending with modern technology today. I really want to go over there and see that. They've got mountain areas there, skiing. It's a stunning country, and it's one that's full of history that I can't wait to get over there and go visit. So yes, and they've got all the different temples that they have with all the different beautiful gardens that are out there, and you go over there during cherry blossom season and you see all the beautiful cherry blossoms. If you can't get to Japan to see the cherry blossoms, go to DC, and during Cherry Blossom Festival, they have calendars of when the peak time is to go and view them. And Brad and I actually went in one year and did the cherry blossoms, and they were just stunning. And that was all around the tidal pool there by the Jefferson Memorial. It was absolutely stunning, these cherry blossoms, all in full bloom and everything else. And so, yeah, you've got cutting edge technology, you've got fashion alongside the quiet traditional neighborhoods. So there's a lot of different things there. So there's the top 10 travel destinations for 2024. Where do you want to go? Was your favorite place that you really want to visit on that list? Maybe it was on the list, but there's just a certain area of that country you want to visit, not the whole country, which is fine because you can do lots of different things in different places. And the cool part is that if you work with a travel professional, they can help you get some really good deals. They can help customize tours there for you. Some of these places you can do self-driving tours. Others, it is recommend that you go on one of the guided tours that are there. If you want to do things by your make up your own customized itinerary and everything else, they can help you with that. Especially when it comes to different places and you've got a certain amount of time. And if you remember back to our travel planning one we did a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, where we talked about travel planning, one of the things you got to look at is that when you're looking at travel, at how long do you want to be gone for, does it include your travel time to get there? So like for New Zealand and Japan, because it's on the other side of the date line, you're actually going to lose a day. You will leave here on if you leave here on a Tuesday, you will arrive on Thursday. And now how much time have you got left to travel? But the cool part is that when you fly back, if you're catching an evening flight, then you can come back and arrive before you leave. That's always hilarious. Oh, what time did you what time did you leave New Zealand? Oh, in about 8 hours. Always love doing that. Canada is something that you can easily drive to as well. So, where is it you want to go for vacations? It doesn't have to be a long, great big vacation. It could be that your dream vacation's on there. It could be your dream destination is not on there this year. So, but that's the list that I came up with when I went doing research today, see what are the top 10 travel destinations for 2024. And with that, I am out of here. I'm off to have dinner. I have no idea what I'm having for dinner tonight. Maybe I'll do burgers. Do burgers tonight. Got some frozen burgers in the freezer. That's right, frozen and freezer. But everybody, thank you so much for joining. Let me see if I got any questions here and any comments. Just scrolling back here to see. I keep forgetting to check comments, so I'm trying to get better at checking to see if anybody's left any comments. There's lots of loves and likes but no comments. Oh, hang on, what's that? Nope. Da-da-dee-da-dee-da-doo. You get musical interlude. What am I singing? I have no idea. And I haven't missed, hang on, it says 2 new messages. Oh, there's just people that are joined. Okay. So there's no comments that we need to do, no comments over there. So thank you, everybody, for taking a few minutes out of your evening or your morning, depending on where in the world you're tuning in from. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to join us here on either Facebook, on YouTube, or on TikTok here. Truly appreciate you guys taking time out of your day just to stop by and say hi and listen in for maybe a minute or two. Maybe you stayed for the whole thing. Who knows? But truly appreciate you guys coming in here and spending some time with us this evening. So, and if you're watching the recording, thank you for stopping by the YouTube channel to watch the recording. Everybody go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hei konera.